You will not believe the week that I just had,
that's
right?
me.
Now let's just go on to my Trust wallet. The withdrawal has kept into the account, as you can see, and I am super excited. It all came down to one single trade that I took on the NASDAQ with my whole entire team. It was that one trade that changed everything. The best trade that I've ever had in my 5 years of trade. Now I am talking about the NASDAQ. We caught a 1,000 pip move on Monday, shorting the NASDAQ. But this was not just any move. It was a really calculated move and took a lot of guts to jump in at the point that I did. Now I had been watching this bank zone on my chart for the longest time and waiting for the perfect moment for the market to get into that area. As soon as the market hit this level, I gave the signal in my inner circle and we went short. And this is the result. 4,000, it was like $4,600 that I had directly from that NASDAQ trade, just one single trade. I'm talking about like power. I was super excited on Monday. All of those following me on Instagram, on Telegram, you already know what I'm talking about. It was such an amazing way to start the week. And the rest of the week did, play out really great. We eventually bagged over 1,550 pips for the rest of the week, right? So we had more wins, more smart plays. On Tuesday, we were patient. I hesitated to actually go into this trade. I did share this with my free group because the market went back to the exact bank zone. And, because of the tariffs and everything going on in the market, I was like, should I really go into this trade whilst, everything is still hot like this? So I just relaxed on a Tuesday. I didn't want to give back my 1,000 pips, to the market. Wednesday, we saw the 90-day pause on the tariffs and the market just shot up to the top. We were eyeing these levels on both the NASDAQ and US 30. And, because of the crazy volatility that the market just pushed with, we could not get a trade on Wednesday. We did still stay, focused. And then Thursday, we did capitalize on another key setup, which was very simple. This was just a simple breakout and a retest, strategy that I used here. And I'm always preaching and talking about this particular strategy, right? So it was an amazing week, no doubt that, but the NASDAQ trade that we had on Monday was an absolute game changer, right? It really set the tone for every single thing. Now let's break down how we did it and what's coming up. Let's get into our weekly analysis, obviously starting on the NASDAQ because it's my all-time favorite. Now I always use this exact same trading strategy when I'm looking for setups on a daily basis, right? You always want to have a bias from what the market is doing. So here we can clearly see a bullish engulfing candlestick showing us that the buyers have started to step into this market. But then you can see that the dominating trend for the daily time frame was kind of like a selling trend, and the overall trend is still indeed bullish. If we go on to the larger time frames, maybe the monthly, the weekly time frame, you can see that this is an overall bullish market in the long run, right? So we obviously would want to still look for buying opportunities, but when do we want to do that? Now I can already see two trend lines that I like here. We have this upper trend line right at this level, and then we have this lower trend line right here. But I think these will be more visible if we drop to the 4-hour time frame. Let's just do that. Now on the 4-hour time frame, it's actually really simple. First of all, we are already in this trade with my inner circle. We are holding one trade on the NASDAQ. What did we do? We traded this break and retest. You can see that the market broke out of this area of value, right? We had the market breaking out of this level right here. It came back to retest the level. It started to form a little bit of wicks. We entered the trade. I think we entered the trade right about this part here as soon as it was forming these wicks on a lower time frame. And then right now we are sitting in good profit, holding one trade, and our stop loss is already at break even. Now what do I expect the market to do? I expect the market to simply continue with this bullish movement. I want to see it breaking out of this trend line, and then we continue with the buyish momentum. That's if that whole tariff and crazy movement does not continue in the market. We want to see positive results, especially now that there is a 90-day tariff pause on the rest of the countries and just mainly focused on China. I hope that will not impact the market in a negative way. Let's just hope they have a good negotiation and we see good movement, and that would also be good for the stock market. Right now this trend line at the bottom here is what I want to see the market respecting. I want to see it respecting this movement, giving us these higher lows that we have here. We have a low, we have a higher low. Now if the market ever comes back here, we want to see a low that is higher than these previous ones. We don't want to see the market breaking out of this level. So that's my bias on the NASDAQ. Already in this trade, want to see the market, breaking out of these areas, want to see it breaking out of this level, continue to the top and this level and that level, and then continuing with our upward movement. Right now, let us go to our gold trade. Now, gold has been absolutely gorgeous. What people don't understand is this trade, we traded it with over 10,000 members in the free signal group starting from Monday. Now, what happened? All right, this is the inner circle. Now, what happened? We actually dropped this movement. When was this? This was the 9th of April, right? I said gold was still looking great for the menu, right? You can jump into the trade. Those that hadn't joined since Monday, I hope you joined when we retraced along, right? I did drop this trade on Monday. Let me just confirm that. Look at this. The movement had not yet even started, but look at what we had for the rest of the week. Gold just shooting right up to the top, and I hope everyone took advantage of this movement. This was a really simple technical move that I had here, a simple trend line and a resistance spot. The market got into that area, it rejected with a wick, it gave us another little indecision candle, and then a bullish engulfing. Wherever you decided to join this trade, it was a good move. You should have caught it. Right now, what I do expect for gold to do, we are in this trade, our stop loss is in profit already. We are securing these wins. What we want to see is the market retest the all-time highs that it broke out of, and probably looking for more opportunities to join the upward movement and just rush up to the top with this. So on gold, you either have to be in the trade or you have to wait patiently for it to come back to those levels. Now, our last chart is going to be US30, which does not look different from the NASDAQ at all. I am super excited, guys, for this week because last week was super amazing for me, and I just want to keep looking forward to really great trading days like we just had last week. Now, this is the exact same thing we have on the NASDAQ, the exact same setup, right? You can see we had a breakout, a retest, and we didn't take this particular trade, but it would have been a nice one also holding it like this. And these lows that we're having, we want to see the market respecting those and continuing to the upside. Right now, if you're not in this trade, you either have to wait for it to come back to this trend line that we drew, or breaking out of these areas of value. If it breaks out, you wait for a retest and right up to the next point. Now, the next point seems like it's already a resistance point, right? Yes, sir. It's kind of like a bank zone. So you probably have a little trend line also here. Let me see if I can get a nice old trend line like this. Right now, when you see the market now breaking out of this trend line, then you're good to go riding the market up to the top. But let's not be biased. This doesn't look complicated at all. We should always keep in mind though that because of the tariff war that is going on right now, the markets are super crazy and anything at any time can actually happen in this market. So you don't want to be caught in over risking or over leveraging on your particular account. Now, I do have super exciting news for you guys regarding the prop firms. It has been a really hectic journey, especially with these markets that have been going crazy. I can tell you though that FCMO account that I had, I did fail the phase 2 challenge, and it sucks. Yes, it does suck, but then that's what trading is all about. And I did fail because I hit my overall drawdown limit, meaning that I was taking losses back to back because the market had just been dropping, and I eventually failed the phase 2 account. But it's going to be super exciting. I hope you're excited for those particular videos. Remember, we have a 90k account that we're trading. I also have a couple of 50k accounts on different prop firms, so you want to be really looking forward to those videos. Now, the week is going to be super exciting. I'm really looking forward to this week to capitalize back to our normal movements on NASDAQ is what I'm really hoping for, so that we can be obliterating it back to back. Now, if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to hit that like button, turn your post notifications, and subscribe to the channel. You feel me? With that, it's been Tino, and I'll see you in the next lit video. Love you guys.